Today we're going to do a refresher on crimping. So we've got our crimp bead. That's a 2mm 2x2mm crimp tube. And I like tubes better than rounds because when you compress rounds, you have a tendency of cutting into the wire. We've got a crimp cover, and that's going to be for finishing up to make it really nice over your crimp. Let's take a look at that. I'll shoot it across the room. And all that is a bead that's opened up that is going to be squeezed close over your crimp. And we've got your wire guard or your cable guard. And we'll show you how that's used. That's a nicer finish. And then we have your clasp. And we're going to be using 014 beading wire from Griffin. Now with the 014, you can use your standard 2x2 crimp, your standard cover, and your standard cable guard. If you're using over 0.018 wire, you'd want to go to a 3x3 crimp, a larger crimp cover, and a larger cable guard. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bead onto the wire. Put your beads on there. And leave the spool on there with the holder. That way you'll know you'll have enough wire for it. And we want to do first things is we want to put the crimp. But this is hard to do with a camera. So we put the crimp tube on. Let me see if I can zoom in there. Oh, that's some zoom there. And then we're going to take the cable guard and there's a hole here. So you go through the hole. There's a groove there that the wire is going to lay into. Let's get enough wire through there. And you're going to put it through the other tube. I can't believe I can do this through the camera without any magnifiers on. All right, so we've got an open cable guard, and we got the crimp tube floating around. We'll get back to the crimp tube in a minute. Okay, now, do you see the cable guard on? Now, what we're going to do before we have the crimp tube still floating around on the end of the wire. And I want to get some more wire through there, so I'm going to pull that. And then we're going to go and take the clasp, put it through the wire. And now, you see that? Nice. And I'm going to squeeze the wire guard together. And I'm going to try to do that through the camera. There we go. That's nice. That's real nice. Now let's take a look at crimping pliers. If you notice, there is 2 holes. That makes a U shape. That's where you do it first. And then you turn it 90 degrees and give an extra squeeze there. And I like to give a squeeze on the tip. So we're going to get to this in a second. We also have the Tour crimping pliers, which will be at the end of this video. We'll have that video on it, on how to use that. Now we're going to crimp. Like I showed you, we're going to lay this on the bottom there. Make sure it's in there. And we're going to squeeze it. You see how it made that half round? Then we're going to take it and put it in the front. You see that? Double fold. And then I like to put it in the tip for an extra squeeze. Now you've got your crimp on. Nice double fold in it, very secure. At this point, if you want, you could take your crimp and slide this over it and squeeze, and then you would have a crimp ball over it or a crimp cover. Just like that. There you go. Then you do the same for the other side. And you got a real professional crimp job or ending. Today, we're going to give you a demonstration of the entire crimp cover, the crimper. And you can see the indentation is much more pronounced than the regular crimper. And it only has one indentation. And this has a cutter also on it. So what we're going to do, you would normally put your beads on the string and then add the crimp tube. I keep on dropping crimp tubes. Not easy to do without glasses, for me at least. Okay, so we've got the crimp tube on, and your clasp would be right there. Right in here. So let's see if we can zoom in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to lay it in the crimper. See that? Nice and tight. That actually would be good the way it is, but I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, not on the color parts. And so it double folds it. Now that is absolutely perfect for you to go and put a crimp cover on or leave it the way it is because it looks great. And then you could put that wire through a bead and use the cutter to cut it off. Cutter to cut it off. That's an excellent crimp right there. And as a special deal, we are throwing in 50 crimp beads, 50 of our good sterling silver crimp beads, because they are the best, and at no charge. So that's it.